Uh,
Buddha.
No way, Jose.
How is everybody doing? Grand Rising, good morning, however you want to say it. The background you see, I'm gonna take myself out the stream for right now. Take myself out the stream for right now. Is is a clock. That is the work. Together we break production, and I will do commercial with commercial RT and together. Don't get my shout out salutation out about the Black TV. Respect together. We break production. My sister respect. Jay Thomas respect. Shawanda Williams steady grinding. Respect, respect, respect. Kevin, respect to you. Respect. As you see by the title, I had the time. I forgot to put AM instead of PM, but we're here now. As you see by the title, let's talk about the Crown Act. And do you know what the Crown Act is? Do anybody know what the Crown Act is? I want to know. Yes or no? Do anybody know what the Crown Act is? Do anybody know what the Crown Act is? The Crown Act is it was it was made because that that law or that provision was made because a whole lot of us was being discriminated against because our hair texture, our natural hair texture, and it keeps jobs, schools, sports, anything from discriminating against us because of our hair texture and the length of our hair and how we wear our hair. So they cannot respect Romo. They cannot fire us because our hair. They can't dismiss us from a team because of our hair. They cannot discriminate against us because of our hair. See, no reason I was inspired to do this live about the Crown Act. It's because two stories. One story involves I think a sophomore in Texas. A sophomore in Texas. It involved a sophomore in Texas in high school. He got dreads. He got locks. And he been suspended for school because of his hair. And Texas passed the Crown Act. Before Texas had passed the Crown Act, it was no problem with his hair. Respect be Rob. But after Texas passed the Crown Act, all of a sudden they had a problem with his hair. And the principals, assistant principal, superintendent, guess what? They don't have no hair. They don't have no hair. And then, and then a story I saw, this 7-year old was on this cheerleading team in Maryland, and she had naturally curly hair. And I think she'd been on the team for about 2 years. Then all of a sudden, the coach or whoever it was, the organization, I would say the organization she was cheering for, and think about it, her mother was putting money into her to be on that team. Then all of a sudden, she goes to a competition She go to a competition, and the coach tell her she can't compete with her teammates. She can't compete with her teammates. So, so her mother made a big fuss about it. So you saying my daughter cannot compete because of her hair, because it's naturally curly. But then they want to spin a narrative that said basically she an angry black woman because she called them out on it. See, that's the problem we have with some people. See, people get disrespected for a whole lot of things. Then she had to sit down with her daughter and tell her daughter that you're gonna be shunned because of your hair, your clothes, where you come from, the color of your skin, and your size, your height, and everything. So y'all tell me what's wrong with that. See, we do it to our own kind too now. We do it to our own people. We do it to other folks. We we said, hey, look at his hair. Look at his clothes he's wearing. Look at her hair. Look at her clothes she's wearing. Look how she speak. Look how he speak. Should we be discriminated against cause of that? See, okay, Jay Thomas, okay. See, why did he? This was question I got. Why did he cut his hair? He wanted to play football so bad he cut his hair, which he didn't have to. And I guarantee you, there was some other guys had long hair too that played football. See, that should not be a problem. Hair should not be a problem if you're doing what you're supposed to do at your job or in a cheer competition. And basically, that that cheer coach for that team, which the team was called the Twisters, no pun intended, B. Rob. No pun intended. Basically, they were telling her mom, a sister, a queen who stood up for her daughter, that her money wasn't good enough. So, what do y'all take? What do y'all take from this? See, we do it to our own people. We do it to our own people in our family, in our own community. But when somebody else do it to us, we're in an uproar. See, I think the hair should have nothing to do with how you conduct yourself. Like I said, some people think because you got dread, you're a criminal too. Respect steady, Grandy. See, you know what good hair is? You know what good hair is? It ain't the straight, narrow kind of hair. And guess what? Our daughters and some men try to go perm your hair, whatever. But guess what? You go do that. It had been proven that doing that causes cancer. Doing that causes cancer to your hair. See, everybody say this woman wearing a wig, weave extensions. But guess what? Other people doing the same thing. So, should you be fired because of your hair? No. Should you be put off the team because you don't want to cut your hair? No. It's just a hair. As long as you perform like you're supposed to perform in sports in your work, it shouldn't matter about your hair. So that really got me in an uproar right now. Got me really in a bind. Why you do that to a 7-year old? Why do you do that to a young man that's his high school? See, people do that to make themselves feel better. See, sometimes when people do that, they jealous cause natural hair is better. Sometimes people do that because I think with that little girl, that 7-year old, her hair was naturally curly. And she had a full head of hair. And that was natural. And maybe they couldn't get that hair to stay curly or something. Now tell me what y'all would have done as a parent. What y'all would have done as a parent if y'all heard that? Would y'all been in an uproar about your child? Them telling your child she cannot compete? Telling your son he cannot compete? See, this is what I would have did. Just me. Just me. It's just me right here. If that little, I will fight for mine. I will fight for my child. And two, that if that was me, I would have pulled her out. See, we the only people who had to sit down and talk to our kids. We the only one got to sit down and talk to our kids about that. But do some of us parents sit down and to our kids about what might go on in this world that people might not like about us? No. See, I'm not just talking about our kids. I'm not just talking about uh, our melanated children. I'm talking about all children. I don't care what ethnic group you in. Nobody should be discriminated against because of their hair texture or the size they are, or the clothes, the shoes they wear, or how they talk. Nobody should be. See, we're supposed to be encourage our young people. See, and some people wonder what these children get. They derogatory throwing slurs at different people from. They get it from the parents. They get it from the parents. See, if we don't get it together and teach our children that they beautiful just like they are, and they gorgeous just like they are, that their hair does not make them, and makeup do not make them, the clothes do not make them, and let them know that it's how they carry themselves and their attitude, it's a lost cause. It's a lost cause if we don't teach our children that. Our children, see, that's the problem. Some adults go buy the new Nike, the new outfit, new person, all that thing, thinking that, and the kids grow up think material things make them who they are. See, I'm going ahead and this is what I'm gonna do. I'm going ahead and put the blame on us adults. I'm put the blame on us adults. See, you got to have, just like you said, Thomas, got to teach us kids about self-esteem. Cause somebody say this and that about you, that don't make you who they think you are. But sometimes you can't tell people. You got to show people, and sometimes you can't overdo it. Think you better than the other person. See, sometimes in our community, some people think they're better than the other person in the community, but yet they in the same place as the other person. I'm gonna get ready to go to a commercial, and when I come back from a commercial, I'm gonna open up. I'm gonna open up the chat. Respect Silverback. The panel will be open after commercial. The panel will be open after commercial. Hold on. Hold on. Try to find a commercial. Hold on. Yeah, we're back, and I'm going to show you the clock that Together made. Isn't that clock beautiful? And isn't what she does beautiful? And the commissioner team, isn't that beautiful what they be doing? Isn't it beautiful? Respect Papa Will. Respect true to the game. Silverback King. Respect to you. The panel is open. If you got something to say about what I was just talking about these two children getting disrespected, get discriminated against because of their hair texture or how they wear their hair, feel free to hit the panel. This is open discussion, open panel discussion that we got to have because we're the only community got to sit down and talk to our children how to act, what different things mean, and what it shouldn't mean. See, this is just part one. We're gonna have part two of this tonight. We're gonna have part two of this tonight. I want people to join me tonight for part two of this discussion. Yeah, that's how people, black men and women, get fired from the job because of their hair. Is that right? No, it's not right. Should it be? That's why states and federal government is creating the Crown Act. But is that stopping people from doing what they doing? No. See, just like that 7-year old girl in Maryland, her mother called them out on it, and they want to turn around on her, saying she's just an angry black woman, but standing for a child. That's not an angry black woman. She's just doing what she's doing to protect her child. The young man that's in high school in Texas, he been suspended from school 2 or 3 times because of his hair, because he wouldn't change his hairstyle. Because he will not cut his hair, basically. And he has it up above his shoulder. See, that's the problem we have with some people. That was probably kind of problem we had with people in our community. They stuck on materialistic clothes, hair, teeth, speech. But they don't take into consideration what that person is like on the inside. How many times have y'all in the chat that y'all still who in the chat who gonna watch the replay that y'all got picked on because of clothes you wear, shoes you wear, or how you talk, and your hair? How many times? I know I have. How did it make you feel? Did it make you feel less than? It should. It shouldn't make you feel less than, because guess what? You got the brain, you got the knowledge to stand strong, to stand tall, with your head held high. Because when people does that to you, or does it to your children, they make them look like fools, they're idiots. But granted, there's some people go act a fool because what people say about them. Should we act a fool because of our hair texture, and how we fix our hair? Should we act a fool? We should be acting a fool. But that's some people go out here act a fool and prove the people right. Like what you get out of you got dreads, you got afro, you got whatever kind of haircut, whatever kind of hairstyle you got, young men, little boys, and grown men, adults. But you go around with your pants sagging. Yeah, you might not be a thug, but you got the pants sagging. You might not go and shoot and do negative things, but you got the pants sagging. Cause guess what? That what it is associated with. Just like dread is associated with negative thing. What we know is not a negative thing. So how do we explain to our children? How do we sit back and explain to our children that they are beautiful no matter what? How do we explain to our children that they can achieve anything they set their mind to? See, I tell you how we could do it. Some parents got to stop going by the latest gear, as they would have put it, latest clothes, latest shoes, and sit down and have a talk with your children or your child. That's what they should do. Respect it, just ETV. Your hair texture should not have nothing to do with how you feel. It should have to do with how you perform on stage, at the workplace, at school, or on a team. It shouldn't have no effect on it. I just I just imagine how that young man felt in school, get suspended all the time. Look how many classes he missed. I just imagine how that 7 year old little girl in Maryland feel, and she probably was on the team with some of her friends. Just imagine how some of her friends felt that she wasn't on that team no more. The panel is open. The link is at the top of the chat. Thomas says the first step is showing them how you treat your significant other. That plays a huge part in reassuring them they're amazing. When they see you treat your spouse or a partner just as amazing, you're right. It it, it goes to it shows you how you treat each other. It goes to show you how if you show your children or your child how you treat your significant other, or how you treat your brothers and your sisters, your mother, your father, your grandmother, your grandfather, your aunt, your uncle, or your elders, it goes a long way. It goes a long way. See, that's part of it. And you standing out there arguing with your neighbors, calling them all kinds of names, talking about their hair, their clothes, how they talk. What they're teaching your children? That clothes and hair, nails, and all that stuff matters. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's what's on the inside of you that matters. Because if you look inside somebody's heart and see their true intentions, That's why I say at the end of my lives, love and respect yourself. You'll see through all the BS. You gotta love yourself more than anything else. Cause if you love and respect yourself, you see through all this BS they try to put on us, and we try to put on ourselves. If you love yourself more than anything else, nobody can tell you different. All right, Jay. And Jesse, if you could join me, you can come on up too. If you want to. See, I don't just say it just to be saying it. It's true. You got to love and respect yourself. See, if you show your child that you love and respect yourself, they will love and respect themselves. If you show your child that you love you some you. I love me some me. Ain't nothing nobody can say about me to get me down. Nothing nobody can say to get me down. Ain't nothing nobody can say to get me down. You right together. You right about that. People want to control other people when they can't even control their own life or environment. Yes, you're right. See, that 7 year old girl that was on that chill team, just think what kind of impact that would have on her life. Just think that young man that's at high school in Texas, think what kind of impact that would have on his life. All the negativity these so called adults throwing at them. Make them feel like they're not good enough because of their hair. What do hair have to do with the price of gas in the United States? See, that's what we're talking about. Our children. And then when a man or a woman, when a mother and father stand up for their children, they're a thug or angry black woman. When they standing up for their children. Yeah, it's about control. It's always about control. They mad because they can control our hair. It's kind of funny. Before that Crown Act in Texas, they passed the Crown Act in Texas, it was no problem with the young man's hair. But then all of a sudden, they passed the Crown Act, they got a problem with it. It wasn't a problem with that 7-year-old little girl hair for 2 years when she's on the cheer team. Then all of a sudden, now it's a problem. Then on top of that, you want to blame it on the mother. Say she's an angry black woman. Which I call that switching the blame. Try to blame something else and put it on something else, which you really meant, oh, your 7-year-old little black girl is not good enough. We don't want her on the team. B-Rob, you was on here first. What's your take on it?
Good morning. Good morning. How y'all doing today? I hope everybody doing well. Man, I was watching that, man, listening to what you're saying. It's just like Big Sister Geller said, it's all about control. If they care about people's style, the way how they carry themselves, how they hairstyle or the clothes they wear, why won't you take that same energy and try to help out every community, not just the white community, not just the suburbs, not just the projects and the hood. Take care and help every goddamn lifestyle for people. So y'all gonna go out there and cut this kid's hair because the way he look. That doesn't mean he's a thug or whatever.
That would have taken. He didn't cut his hair. He cut his hair.
Oh, he cut his hair.
No, he cut his hair. He still got his dreads.
Oh, okay.
He still got his dreads.
Okay, that's good. But at the same time, forgive me about that. But at the same time, having dreads is a culture. So basically, if you telling me you go to Jamaica and you tell a Jamaican man or a Jamaican woman to cut their dreads, boy, they will beat the crap out you. Because that's their culture. That's a tradition. It's a style. Because you see hairstyles you don't like, that doesn't mean they criminals or bad guys or whatever y'all think about them. Y'all, other people walk around talking all kinds of crap, and y'all style, we ain't saying nothing about y'all. But you can't go out there and try to control how they dress. You can't control how they want to feel like doing. It's their own way of doing things. But the problem I am against is the sagging. We all know what that is. That's not a thug thing. Everybody think it's gangster style, but I'm not gonna get into that right now because it's too early in the morning. But no, I don't like that. I'm believing putting my pants up. But it don't matter how you look. People need to stop judging the book by the cover and looking in the brain and in the heart of a person who's trying to go for their goals and dreams in life. People need to stop trying to control everything. And about the hair part, the hair is supposed to be long anyway. It's meant to grow. Samson grew his hair. What happened to him when he cut his hair? He lost his strength. So you can't control people's how they want to carry themselves, man. Too much control, man.
Yep. Jay, what you got to my brother Thomas? What you got to say about it?
I kind of want to good morning to y'all first of all. Like, how y'all doing today, man?
God bless you, man. Good morning, man.
We're doing good. When everybody talk, everybody let mute up with somebody else talking. E, we come to you next.
But basically, what I wanted to kind of piggyback off of what B Rob was saying on how powerful the hair is. Your hair is like the satellite to the universe, right? So like the longer my hair was before I shaved all my hair bald, because I'm balding out, but the longer my hair was, I was more in tune, more attentive, more patient, everything, because I'm receiving everything differently from everyone else. So your hair is a powerful thing. But one to speak on the subject of what that little girl is, what her situation is that sad that they would discriminate that child based off of her hairstyle. That's disgusting. And also, I teach my daughter, because my daughter, she's biracial. And I tell her, don't let nobody touch your hair. That's a racist thing. Don't let nobody touch your hair. And I think we got to get back to teaching our kids that. And it's sad that we have to teach our kids that, particularly people of pigmentation, that we have to teach our kids how to go on in society because the odds are stacked against us anyway. But yeah, I land my plane on that.
E, word to you.
Good morning. Good morning. How's everybody doing?
Feeling
Oh,
blessed, feeling blessed.
we good. We good.
I didn't
What?
get a chance. I didn't catch the previous part, so I'm jumping in mid. So
I was explaining to you. There's this young man that in high school. He's been suspended 3 times because of his hair, because he got locks. And before the Crown Act, before they created the Crown Act in Texas, it was no problem. Then soon after the Crown Act came enacted, they want to suspend him. Wanted to cut his hair because it didn't matter what style he had the locks in. It was wrong. Then the 7-year-old girls on this cheer team called the Twister, no pun intended, be Rob. And all of a sudden, she was on the cheer team for 2 years. All of a sudden, she go to competition. The cheer coach talk about she can't cheer, and the mother made a big fuss about it. And then they want to turn around and say, "Oh, the mother is a angry black woman."
wow. I thought the Crown. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. I thought the Crown Act was for having, encouraging, us to wear our natural hair. Correct?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
So it wasn't a problem before the Crown Act, but now since there is a Crown Act, now they are subjugating the young man about his locks, but before they weren't.
Yep.
Okay, that's racist, but that's unfortunate. I'm in California, and I wear my hair natural, so I wear my hair naturally, and even if I don't, when I wear wigs, I wear curly wigs. I don't particularly like straight hair, so I'm always pro your hair. I've been natural for over 25 years, so I would for them to do that to him with his locks, and like B Rob was saying with regards to locks and Jamaicans, Rastas, that's a Nazarene thing. The Samson and Delilah. That's where the Jamaicans who believe in their locks, they get that from. They believe it's strengthening your hair. It's almost a religion for them. It is a religion for them. That's why they don't like to, cut their locks or touch their locks, because they believe that, like Samson, is strength as a Nazarene, is strength in the hair. So for them to do that to that young man, and I don't know if he, subscribes to the religion or not, but still the fact that, they're messing with him after the fact, after there's a Crown Act, but it wasn't a problem before it was a Crown Act, is, somebody that I would sue. It's not, I don't understand why they would pick on him now that, there's a quote unquote law that's saying don't touch your hair. You shouldn't have to touch your hair. It shouldn't be a problem. That's our hair. We are uniquely created with our coily locks, our coily hair. It's unique to us. and there's nothing wrong with it. So, the fact that there had to be a law passed is suspect in itself, that we have to be governed by, somebody has to tell us that we should be able to wear our hair this way is insane. We should be able to wear our hair whether there's a law or not. It's our hair.
Respect to Lonnie. I read what Together just put. She said a lot of white people don't feel good unless they aggravate it or cause an issue for Black Americans. But I agree too. I want to ask you, if you were the mother of that 7-year-old little girl that was on the cheer team for 2 years who went no problem, then all of a sudden there's a problem go to competition, and that coach tells you that your child cannot compete with her team that she's been on for 2 years.
I'm filing a lawsuit. She ain't cutting her hair.
No, yeah. And then all of a sudden they turn around and say, "Oh, you're the angry Black woman."
They can say what they want. I'm sticking up for my daughter. I'm sticking up for what's right. And I'm not angry. That's just insane. Has nothing to do with, her being competitive. And I will sue them.
Yeah. And that was coming next. See, you know what? I'm not even going to put it all on the Caucasian. I'm not going to put it all on them. Right? Just think what some of our people do. They're going to buy fashion. They put value in clothes, shoes, hair, nails, makeup. I talk to men and women. What is that teaching our children? Anybody?
Material things.
Yeah. And sometimes we find ourselves making fun of people because of the clothes they wear, the shoes they wear, their hair, whatever. Our kids learn for us. How can we, if we do that to other people, how can we tell our children, and somebody does it to them, how can we tell our children that it's discrimination and it's not right, and they still do it to other people? We can't.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
And that's the problem. See, we can blame other people, but when
And
we
don't
gonna
get
start
me
blaming
wrong, like
ourselves?
I'll get my kids name brand clothing and stuff like that. But at the same time, my wife, she as long as it look good, it can come off a clearing rack at Walmart. So we teach we teach our kids specifically. The clothes don't make you, you make the clothes, because you got to be great with or without those clothes, because that could be taken away. Who are you going to be at the end of the day after that? So the brand don't don't be a slave to a brand.
Yeah, you're right. And that's where our community is at. How many times have you seen when the new Jordan came out? No matter where you live at, that's a line around the door. How many times have you seen that?
A lot.
We're teaching our kids the wrong thing. See, I like what you said when you typed in the chat about your brother play quarterback and he cut his hair.
Man, my mom advised him not to do it, but he was so passionate about football, he just cut his hair, and I was like, dude, that was the wrong decision. I was like, man, you don't let nobody tell you based off of your physical appearance. And the excuse that they gave him was it's gonna cover up your name. Now they had wide receiver with dreads, cornerbacks with dreads, free safeties, all that. But him specifically at a quarterback, and you know that position is ideal for certain people, you know what I'm saying? That's why they wanted him to cut his dread. And I told him you shouldn't have cut it. You should have just quit, because you're only there for education any damn way, because the likelihood of you making it to the league is slim to none. Get your education.
You're right about that.
Can I take it back?
Let me go ahead and do this right good. Respect to and shout out to the Commission Art team. Go ahead, B Rob.
Okay. To piggyback what Jay was talking about, the quarterback position is majorly made for the white man, the white boy. Cause every time back in the day, as we were growing up, the quarterback is the position for what? The white man, the white boy, the white quarterback. Cause the white quarterback is the leader of that team. So they feeling bitter because it was a black guy or any other race back there. They feel like jealousy. They think not trying to be racist, but that's how I feel. Like they trying to be better than us because how they use their power to abuse their authority. You don't have to cut that man's hair. But I know what your brother mean. He's determined to play and go for his dreams. I kind of understand that, but at the same time, he should not have to cut his dreads. But that man want to go for his dreams and goals and maybe try to help y'all out. These people want to live their dream, but they'll do anything to get it. But at the same time, you can't condemn to have that man get his hair cut and all that whatnot. That's almost like disrespect. If the man want to grow his hair down there to his ass, down there to his feet, let him grow his hair. That's his hair. That's not your hair. Is that your daughter's hair? Had long hair, you gonna tell your daughter. Like I'm talking about the Caucasians. If your daughter got long hair, you gonna tell her to cut her hair. Your son, you gonna tell your son to cut hair. Like I said before, the hair is the strength of a person. Samson, long hair, gave him strength. When Delilah cut his hair, he lost that strength. It's a tradition and it's a culture. It don't matter how you look. It's about how you carry yourself. And that's what the government so failed to realize. Everybody going by how people look and not how people act and how they carry themselves. Those men can be people can be looking like the meanest people in the world. But deep down inside, they are the nicest, humblest people you're ever going to meet. People need to stop looking at other people because how they look. Start judging people how they look. I'm talking about all races. Black, white, Hispanic, Japanese, all that. People need to stop looking at people because how they look and start looking like how they carry themselves. All right, I'm done.
It's like this right here. It first started at the home. If you're a parent and you're going out buying this and that right there, and your child saying you buying this and that, you're making it about the appearance on the outside. Like I always say it. B. Roy heard me say this: that a man dressed in a woman or a man dressed up could look like a millionaire, but don't have a dime to their name. A woman just like a bum or a homeless person or unsheltered person or just dressed down, look like he or she don't have no money, but could have all the money in the world. And you would never know it. Appearance and hairstyle does not make the man a woman. It's the heart and what the man or woman have inside of themselves. That what make that person. Because if you don't have the heart and you don't have that integrity, fortitude, you don't have the mind to go with it, clothes, shoes, nails, hair, makeup, none of that, cars, houses, that's not going to make no difference. That's not going to make no difference. Because when that 7-year-old, that person in high school, I heard a woman got fired because of her hair. A grown woman got fired for her hair. I forgot where it was at. Is that right? Do hair affect your job? Do the kind of clothes affect your job? I know in restaurant you gotta have slip resistant shoes, but do that affect your way you perform? Do that affect the way you live, the way you talk, the way you walk, the way to carry yourself? Do all that affect the way you do? I know some people get clothes to make themselves feel better,
Hmm.
but do it really make you feel better? Or are you just covering up the problem that is already there that you're not trying to fix? Kevin E.
Man, it's like I listen to everything y'all say, but to me, I'm just gonna flat say it's a race thing. That's what it is. If you making people trying to cut their hair because they kids and they want to rock their hair like that, let them rock their hair the way they want to. You let white people rock their hair how they want to rock, so why you just don't let them rock their hair how they rock?
Kevin, it's not the reason. It's not just race. It's
Hey,
not just race.
but like I said, if we don't start at home, stop 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 showing our kids that the outside appearance actually matters, and then get mad at people. I don't care what ethnic, like I said, I don't care what ethnic groups it is, and stop letting them say and then get mad at the people who call them out about that. See, the Crown Act, it shouldn't matter what your hair is, long, straight, short, it doesn't matter. Natural, weave, wig, it don't matter. Bald, it doesn't matter. That shouldn't affect your job. Respect, Romo. What you got to say about it?
Hey, yeah, hey, what's up? The one thing I want to just say, it's a different perspective, but the way I see it is, we all agree that we're God's people, right? We all know that, and I think all of the other races know that too. And like if you just look in the Bible, it says that we're a hard-headed people, and God has been kicking our ass for a long time because of that, and it's gonna continue until we come back to God. The further we get away from God, the more the women are losing their hair. That's their crown. You see what I mean? Our children are running amok because we've lost contact with God. And as long as we stay in this position, we're going to stay downtrodden until we come back. Now, that might not happen in your generation because it's taken thousands of years for us to get this together. It says in the Bible that we were supposed to be thrown in slavery for 400 years. And that's exactly how long we sat in there.
What I was all about religion, but also it's not all about religion. I'll tell you why I said that.
No, I'm not saying that it's all about religion. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that a lot of the problems that we discuss every day about black people, and we've been doing this for 30 years. I've been hearing this same conversation right here for 30 years.
Yeah.
But the thing is, we need to realize that our problem is gonna take time. It's not something, and I used to be just like you guys. I used to say, man, let's fix this right now. All we got to do is fix this right. It's not gonna happen like that fast because our time doesn't have anything to do with God's time. This could take 10 generations before it gets fixed. Now, what we can do is try and speed up the process by having conversations like that. But honestly, we're so far away from where we're supposed to be as people, it's probably not going to happen in your generation. I hate to say that, but it's true. You can look at the past. Look at our look. Okay, look. You talk about women's hair, right? Okay. Now, how long did it take before the guys stopped wearing jerry curls? You see what I mean? It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen, but we got to realize that this is on God's time. So in order for us to fix all the things that's wrong with our people, man, it's gonna take a while. And like I said, we're far away from God right now. We don't have any way to say, "Hey, God, come down here and help us now," because we've gotten so far away from His teachings or Jesus' teachings.
See, the reason I said what I said is that you're right. It's gonna take some time, but if as parents, as parents, you don't start teaching your children early. There are some kids out here, 2 year old, 1 year old, 3 year old, 4 year old, 5 year old, don't know nothing hardly in the world. Don't know how to read. Don't know the ABCs 1, 2, 3, but they know whole live to a rap song and know how to twerk. Although that is Africa's tribal dance, whatever. But look what they turned it into. You see what I'm saying? But if we don't teach our children that materialistic thing is just materialistic things and not hit the core values, this thing gonna continue. It starts at our home
I
and it
think it's
starts with
gonna
us.
continue. I think it's gonna continue until it stops. Just like just like what 3 years ago. There's no way you could have told me that black guys were gonna start wearing skinny jeans. Not where we were, not from where we were, right? It's a progression. It takes time. There's no way that you can see what's going to happen in the future, like as far as like what's going to happen with our people, but you can see the progress that we're making. And like I said, this conversation right here is important because it is going to make a difference in time. And like I just think that sometimes we say, well, we want things to happen in our lifetime, right? It might not. And then that'll give you the patience. It doesn't mean that you don't start working towards it. It just gives you a little more patience and say, hey, you know what? We got a long way to go.
Respect to Mr. A for sure. Respect to Double Speak. Double Speak, if you come on up too. I'd like to hear your perspective on it. And what I see is this right here. When we call out the BS against us, we, us, and all that stuff, and the women is Anglo black women, right? And like I said, some of us in our community go get clothes or whatever, hide the true what we true of what we truly are feeling. But we had to sit down with our children. It starts with us. Nobody else. Nobody else. We got to sit down and explain to them that people gonna say different things about them to make them feel bad about themselves and have them go do something crazy. But if we sit down with them, explain to them, not talk at them. Who that is? Who that is? Not talk at them, but talk with them. To sit back and listen to them and see what they got to say. Not just listen, we got to hear. We're not doing that with our children. Parents these days are not doing that with their children. Like back in the day, how many times have you would have sat down with somebody older than you, your elders, and you sat and listened? That's the problem.
I
And
agree.
now,
I definitely agree.
and now, the woman in Maryland and the young man in Texas, look what they're going through. It's not about the hair. And uh, just think, I'm going back to the boy in Texas. Guess what? He was a straight A B student in school. Now think how that gonna affect him in the long run. Hopefully, I pray that he succeed in what he gonna achieve. Just think how they gonna affect him. That 7-year-old girl in Maryland, how they gonna affect her? See, sometimes young people, even older people, take negativity and then start not giving a damn. So, so I'm like this right here. When we start, see, one thing we got to start giving a damn. We start caring. We start caring. We start caring. E, what's your take on it?
I don't think we stop caring per se. I do think that, it starts in the home. I agree with you that, educating our children starts in the home. But you touched on a lot of things with materialism, the hair, things of that nature. Materialism again starts in the home. We're only reflecting. Children are only reflecting what their parents are doing, right? They are, if your parents, if your mom and your dad, they are consumers and they're caught up in buying, the latest and greatest, the Jordans, the Dolce and Gabbana, the bags and the hair all the time. Well, guess what? Your kid is gonna follow suit with what you're doing, right? If you're the most exciting thing is to go shopping and buy all this, luxury stuff and spend all this money, then guess what? Your child is going to follow suit with what you're doing. So I do agree that it does start in the home. With regards to the hair, with us and the hair, I mean that's a whole nother animal. You gotta, again, for us, you do need to, parents need to teach their kids about where they come from, who they are. I mean, when I was growing up, you could, but most parents press their daughter's hair out, right? You always had to get a silk press. So it was, commonplace for you to be, your hair to be straight all the time. So I didn't get into my coils until I'm in my freaking 20s. I didn't understand, the significance of what my hair meant to me and, having the hair that I had because, all throughout my young life, you got your hair was straight. It was always straight. Go to church, you got to press your hair. Go to school, you got to make sure your hair is straight and pressed. So I mean, it does start in the home, and it is generational. But I do see I see some positive things with us. Like I said, women are now wearing their natural hair, men are wearing their locks or wearing braids. It's for society to catch up, not for us to, not for us to, fall suit to what they subscribe is good for us. It's for them to catch up with us.
Sit back, your take.
Good morning.
Welcome to the panel.
Good morning, y'all. Good morning, D Truth.
Good morning, big bro. How you doing, bro?
Good morning, E. Good morning, Raymo.
Good morning.
I was listening while I was on the.
Hey, what's up?
What's up, man? I was listening while I was on the conference call, and I was double listening. So, but yeah, it's unfortunate that you have that type of situation. I listened to the whole thing and whatnot, and have that the law I thought was to protect against stuff like that, and it still happened with the Crown Act. but I just think that's just racism. That's just simply racism, in my opinion. So everything you guys were talking about, I agree with. The thing that that E just pointed out about Jamaicans and Rastafarians and stuff, that's so true. So a lot of people have that they have that perspective about the hair. So it's just unfortunate, man, that you have situations like that, and it brings back the old situation with the girl competing. I forget which sport it was, but she had to cut her locks off. So it's just unfortunate. But in this situation here in Texas and whatnot, that to me, that's just blatant racism, in my opinion.
Hey, you heard about what I was talking about, don't you? You heard about that one, did you, in Texas?
Yeah. That's near me. Yeah, I heard about it.
And I think they suspended. I think it's the third time they just suspended him.
Right. Well, what my understanding was that the Crown Act was supposed to protect against stuff like that.
Correct.
Yeah, it does. It's supposed to.
And so I'm not understanding why now it's an issue. That's my whole thing about that. So if it goes to show you, it runs deeper than the hair. That's just racism.
I'll tell you what it is. They didn't have no problem with it, right? They didn't have no problem with his locks at first. But soon as Texas legislators passed that Crown Act, I look at it, they're like, oh, forget what y'all talking about. We're gonna defy that law y'all just put into action.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
And they're gonna see how far they can take it. See, if I was the parent of that young man, by the way, let me reaffirm, he had good grades, A's and B's, all A's from what I understood.
Yeah, he had all A. He's an all A student.
And just think, now if I was the parent, somebody gonna get sued. Somebody would get sued.
I'm definitely looking into all factors, what I could do. That could be a legal action. I'm taking people to court. I'm doing whatever's necessary.
Yeah, and all right, B-Rob, it's like this right here. You heard me say this over and over again. He heard me say it. I don't think Romo heard me say this. What have I said? I said this last night. Go study the laws they got on the books that is for us. And look on the books what kind of law they trying to pass that is for us. Not only look at the ones that for us, go look at the ones they try to put against us. See, that's people in our community don't go look at that.
Right.
They are oblivious to what they're trying to do. See, a whole lot of people want to put it on a Republican, Democrat, Independents. I put it on all of them. Cause I'm gonna tell you this right here. I'm gonna make some people mad. You already know I'm gonna make somebody mad, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
It's not just melanated people in our community. It's not just the Caucasian. It's not just the Asian. It's not just the Hispanic. It's not just America is a whole melting pot of different ethnic groups. No reason I said that. It's on all of us. It's on everybody.
Facts.
Cause stuff that we learn from our parents. Right? E, how did you learn how to cook?
Watching my mama and my grandmother and my grandfather.
That's how I learned how to cook. Romo, Silverback, how did you learn how to change the tire, put gas in the car, mow the lawn, or to cook, clean, wash clothes? That's it. That's to everybody on the panel. Who did you learn from?
I was taught that. I did it
Learned it from my parents.
Yeah. Where you think all this come from? Some of these people, where they get their attitude and all this stuff from?
Oh yeah, it's a learned
From their
behavior.
upbringing.
Yeah. But not to say that it's not from a single parent household, right? It's not from a two parent household. It's from both of them. It's from two parent household and a single parent household.
I believe that I don't think we're going to be able to fight the powers that be the way we want to until our people come back to God.
Thing is, who taught us? Where did we learn there was a God from? You gotta take a look at that too.
Well, we've been struggling with that for thousands of years. I mean, you can look in the Bible. We would act. You know, what I feel is like black people. They want to claim certain people in the Bible and then dismiss the other ones. But actually, if you read the Bible, most of the people were going against God. All those pharaohs and queens that we talk about believed in many gods, and we've been punished for it. And we're going to continue to be punished for it until we come back to God.
But I will say this right here. I think Silverback heard me say this one time before. You know how many times the Bible been rewritten, where it's been changed around, is it? We got to go.
Well, yeah, you could say that. You could say that about some parts of it. But
Yeah.
like I said, you can't take some of it and say, well, we were the people in the Bible, right? And then say, well, the Bible don't really count when it comes to this part. You gotta, which side are you gonna stand on? Because most of the people in the Bible that were kings and queens were going against the laws of God.
But there's a pushback on that too. That's not the whole book. That ain't the whole Bible. You see what I'm saying?
I realized that. I've read the Apocrypha, and I've read the other books too that were left out. And I've read other religious texts that don't have anything to do with the Bible. But the principle is still the same. We are God's people. We are that remnant that got brought over here. That's why you see black people over here in the United States. Anytime they do get their shit together, it's amazing, right? In any field, you'll see it happen. That's how you can know. This little 13% of this population over here is controlling the whole world. As far as style, what's cool, everything. This little bit of people over here, we're special over here. We just don't know how special we are. For this small amount of people to be affecting the world like we do should all let us know there's something in that Bible might have been right about God's people, and we might just be being punished for walking away from Him.
I look like this right here. What? Just think. Everybody ain't gonna come together. We already know that. I don't care what ethnic group you are. Everybody's not gonna come together.
Well,
And
we
two,
know for sure that our people aren't going to come together, but I do see other races coming together.
no,
Our
they're
people
not.
haven't come together yet,
No, they're
but
not coming
white people
together.
work together. Asians work together. And Mexicans work together. We talked about this last night. We the only
No,
people that,
I'm tell you why I said that. They show you the good parts. They show you the good parts. Like they
no,
do.
you
I'm
can
tell you,
you can see how white people are working together and accomplishing things. You can see how Latins are working together to accomplish things. You can see how the Asian, not all of them, on the whole they work together. On the whole, we don't work together. Not all of us. On the whole, we're the only race that doesn't work together. We're the only race of people where our women decide to put on straight hair. We're the only ones.
I got a little pushback. You know, think about it. Think about this right here. They work together, but you fail to realize who behind it. See, you got to pull back the
I didn't
curtain.
say that there wasn't a reason for it. There's a reason for it. I'm just saying that we don't do it.
Oh, we
Well,
do it.
whatever reason they do it for, that's like something else. We're talking about black people. Black people on the whole hate on each other. You talked about how you can get made fun of in the black community for sounding intelligent. I hear that shit all the time on KB's camp panel. People tell me we don't want to hear that smart shit, Ramo. That's the way. That's the way we think. We'll listen to a dumb motherfucker get up here and curse for an hour, but then when the smart person gets on there and he sounds educated, he's dismissed. And that goes to show you how warped our thinking is. Let me tell you something. Before I retired from coaching tennis, right? I was a high school tennis coach of 16 little white girls. All right, they jump in the truck. You know what they talking about? They talk. This is in 10th grade. They already know what their major is. They already know what they want to be. And that kind of minds, they already talking about being politicians in the 10th grade. They talking about making the laws for us. We don't have that mentality yet.
There's some. I'm going to say this right here. There's some. See, I don't want to watch. I don't want to watch the news because they show you what they want you to see, and it's controlled by another high entity, right? And with that being said, you got to look at the bigger picture. See, we we see. Let's take all the inventions. Let's take all the inventions that we use today. Were they all created by Caucasian? No, they wasn't. They wasn't stoplight, comb, ironing board. I can go on and on list of invention.
I mean, we can talk about all the inventions white people created. I mean, it's
No,
you know what I mean. That's not
I'm gonna stop you right there.
okay.
I'm gonna stop you right there. I
Mhm.
already did the research. I got about 2 videos I did on inventions that were stolen from our people. That was
Okay.
stolen. That was
So
stolen.
okay. So what
They
you're
were
saying is
stolen.
that we really are a superior people, but we on the bottom, right? And what I'm saying is that the reason why we're on the bottom is because our people have walked away from God. And until we can get that part right, then we're gonna continue to getting our shit stolen. We're gonna continue having people telling us what to do with our hair. We're gonna continue having broken families. We're gonna have people going to jail for shooting dogs. Until we get closer to God, this is not gonna change.
I got a question for everybody on the panel. Who is and what is God? And where did we get it from? Where did we learn it from?
Well, that's a good question. I don't know, and I don't think anybody really knows.
Is that really is a God?
No, where we learned it from.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was direct contact based on what I know. God was talking to people back in the day. So that's how we learned.
Sit back. Y'all already know I'm finna go down that rabbit hole, don't you? Hey, E. Y'all already know I'm finna go down that rabbit hole, don't you? Sit back.
Go ahead, brother. I'm listening. I'm listening.
E.
Uh-huh.
Y'all got y'all hair on, y'all work boots on right now?
It's already on.
Mm-hmm.
See, that's the problem. They see back in the day, they taught our ancestors what they wanted them to know. It kept passed
That
down
our
generation to
ancestors were
generation.
violating God's law before we even ran into white people. That's what I'm trying to say, is that we've been hard headed this whole time, and we're being taken advantage of because we're hard headed people.
I'm gonna say
Do you
about this.
understand?
I'm gonna ask this question: is the so-called Jesus white? Anybody can answer. Is it the so-called Jesus white that people
No.
behave? Okay. Is Jesus? It's the real name. It's the real name, or it's the name of a slave
No,
ship.
that's not the real name. Like I said, we've been having this conversation for 20 years now. I don't know if you've been involved in it, but this what we're talking about right now has been going on for 20 years. And we keep skipping over the part of we don't have righteousness in our families. That's why our families used to work better long time ago, because we were closer to God back in the 60s and 70s. And we've gradually become more and more separated from what's right and what's wrong. And
I'll tell
until
you.
we get back to that,
See,
go ahead.
I'm not gonna say we were separated from God. That's why I ain't gonna put that on that. It was.
Our actions are separating us from God. He's not separating himself from us. Our actions are moving us further away from him, and so therefore there are consequences to pay for that. And you can see them. They're obvious. If we're God's people, we're the only ones facing consequences. Look at all the dirt that white people have done in their life. I don't see white people facing the same consequences that black people are, and that's because they're not the chosen people. We're being persecuted because we know better. We supposed to be doing better. God gave us all these gifts to take over the goddamn world, and we won't do it. And as long as we keep on with this, um, tearing down each other, not having basic decency for each other, we kill each other like it ain't. I don't see any other group of artists, musicians beefing, killing each other. I don't see any country singers out here running around beefing with other country singers. It's just us. And I'm not saying that the white man's not the devil.
But
Fine. When are we gonna start winning? And the only way that we gonna beat that devil is getting on God's side.
I'm gonna tell you this right here. Who said God is a he? Has anybody ever seen
I
God?
don't want to get caught in the weeds. Whatever you want to call them, female, male, whatever. When
That's
as
what
soon
I'm
as we
saying.
get closer to that, whenever we get closer to that entity, that's when we gonna start winning. And as long as we keep pulling away from it, we're gonna keep on getting taken advantage of, and they gonna keep on telling us how to wear our hair and how to dress and everything. You name it.
But you know it gonna turn around. See, like I said, when people watch TV, watch the news, they show you what you want to see, right? No, you don't see other people doing the same thing that they show us that they say we're doing in our. They say they show that we're doing in our community. They want to make it look like it's not going on in theirs.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying percentage wise. You see what I'm saying? That's just like a lot of people, they'll try to say, well, um, you know, there are more white people on food stamps, right? Yeah, there are. Of course there are.
But what do they show you? What they tell you?
There are more people on. Look, the point is this: if you want to get caught in the weeds about what the devil's doing, you'll find we can have a 7-hour discussion on how the devil's fucking us over. What I'm saying is, the solution to the problem is just getting back to what's right. And when we do that, we get closer to God, and then we stop getting penalized for being hard headed.
You know what? How we get back to that is. That's why I say it starts at the home.
It does
Start
start at
talking.
home, and it does. And like I was saying before, this isn't something because like I said, I used to be like, what's wrong with black people all the time. But then as I got older and I had conversations with people about it that were older than me, they started to express that well, look, this isn't something that might happen in your lifetime. It's gonna take time. And conversations like that, like this, can speed it up. But it's gonna take a long time for our people to get back on track with God. Doesn't have anything to do with us making more money, anything like that. We have plenty of black people out here that got money now. What are
Yeah,
they
and
doing with it?
see, and then on top of that, they with that being said, you said we got some of our people work together, work good together, but at the same
Got
time,
some pit bulls out here that don't bite people, right?
yeah,
But
it's always how they train.
on a whole though, right? Okay, so there are always going to be exceptions, and we can always find those on all sides. I'm saying as a whole,
But
our black people. Go
I'm gonna
ahead.
say this right. I'm gonna say this right here. Dogs, cats, lions, uh, humans got teeth, right? Everybody got teeth. All them dogs and humans got teeth, right?
Yeah.
And I said that to this. They said about it, pit bulls, right? But guess what? All of us could bite. You see what I'm saying? So it's like I said, I try to keep it where if we don't start at the home front, to teaching your children of right and wrong, and sit down with them, have a discussion with them.
How do you know how do you know what's right and wrong? What are you basing it on? You're basing it on some type of religious book, right?
No, right or wrong.
Okay.
Right or wrong is
With
look
the
here.
basic
Look,
foundation
I'm
of
thinking
what's
like
right and wrong is
if they didn't
based
have no
on the
law,
Bible.
if you didn't read that's some people don't read the Bible. Some people don't believe in God, right? But they know what's right and wrong.
Now you're going back to the exceptions. Most of the people that don't believe in God a lot of times don't have a lot of righteousness in them either. They the type of dude that don't have a problem discriminating against you when you come in there to get a job.
Yeah, but there's a
Right?
whole lot of people. There's a whole lot of people that do read the Bible don't have no problem either discriminating against you. You see the
Exactly.
concept?
But on the whole, though, most of the people that believe in the Bible or any other religious text usually are righteous people if they actually believe in it.
Not exactly. Not exactly.
Yeah, it is exactly. What are you basing that on?
I'm telling you
What are
what
you
I said.
basing your? Hold on. How old are you? How old are you, the truth?
Hold on. I said this before. When a preacher, pastor, bishop is doing the right thing, is speaking the truth in a church or synagogue, wherever they teach at, right? And they speaking the truth. What do some of the people in the church try to do? They get rid of them.
Right, because we are hard-headed people and we don't like the truth. We don't want to hear what we need. That's just like in the Bible it says that a woman is not supposed to be a minister of a church, right? You know that, right?
That was hold on. Who wrote the Bible? Man wrote the Bible.
Well, what are you going to base what you think is right or wrong on? Because you got to base it on something.
What I base what right or wrong on is what I do, what I want somebody to do that to me. If I do it to them.
Who taught you what was right and wrong, and what did they base it on?
Look, I learned right from wrong from my parents.
And what did they base what was right and wrong?
They based it off life.
They based it off of the Bible.
No, they did.
Yes, they did.
Cause guess what?
Did they get it? Where did they get their information from then?
But you still had caught on what I was saying.
No, I caught on to what you were saying.
Not yet. Cause
I feel your whole point. That point that you're making has been being made for 30 years. I heard this before.
Hey, this point been made over 30 years.
Right, exactly. And we
Over
still
30
haven't
years.
gotten it. And we still haven't
Uh,
gotten it. If you
but
ask
but uh,
anybody,
but think
you
about this.
ask
Hold on,
somebody
Romo.
on this panel, where did
Hey,
they learn? Where did they learn what was right and wrong from? If they say their parents, then ask them where their parents learned it from. They're gonna say the Bible.
but Romo, everybody been doing the same thing. I don't care what ethnic group you in. They've been doing the same thing over and over again. And forget the Bible until until our people and other people start teaching their children at home instead of letting
Where
other
are they
people try
gonna?
to teach them.
How are they gonna teach their children what's right and wrong if they have nothing? They're not pulling from anything. You have to. If you don't have a good understanding of the Bible, I'm not saying the Bible has to be the only book. I think Buddha teachings are awesome. I think the Quran is awesome. It's a little violent, but if you read, I think the Tao is an awesome thing. That's how Chinese people get their head together. We use the Bible over here. It's all basically the same thing.
Yeah,
Until those principles are taught in the home, you're not going to see a change. And you don't have to read the Bible. You could listen to it on YouTube. You could go to church, whatever. Those principles are not being pushed into our kids correctly.
yeah, I understand that, but at the same time, there's people don't even read the Bible, and they favors don't read the Bible. See, everything that we learn as adults right now was passed down generation for generation for generation, and where our ancestors learned it from, and from somebody else, right? So it's it's the belief. Let's take these let's take these holidays, right? Let's take these holidays. Let's take Christmas for instance. They said Christmas was when supposedly Jesus was born. Who knows that? Nobody. Let's take Easter. They said that the day he rose for the dead. Who knows that? Nobody. Right? How do we know these things? It passed down. Why are we celebrating them? Nobody knows why. What
Well, I
do
think you can get caught up in. I think you can get caught up into when Jesus was born. You can get caught up into Easter. But if you look at his teachings, though, right? If you look at Jesus's teachings, and then if you also can even go further and look at Jesus's commands, forget all that other stuff. Let's do that stuff and see what happens. Forget about when he was born. Let's just try following what he says and see if our people get better.
I'm
See if
gonna
our
ask this.
families start coming together.
I'm gonna ask this question of the panel right here. Anybody can answer anybody can answer the question. Okay. Say we follow the Bible, right? Would he or she, whoever Jesus is, God, would he approve us giving materialistic things, going out buying materialistic things, clothes, jewelry, cars, on his son's birthday?
As long as you following his law, you should be able to because he wants us to be prosperous. That's just like the story of Job, right? God and the devil had a bet, right? They said, well, let's just see if Job is gonna, whose side he's gonna fall on if we take everything, if I take everything away from him. See, God wants us, and then once Job was able to show God that he was on his side after God had thrown him out of grace, right? What God did was he restored all that stuff to him, restored his prosperity. So God wants us to be here living like kings. And he's not going to let us live like kings until we follow his laws.
What is living like king? What is living like king is? all the
living
riches.
prosperous. Yes, you should have anything you want on this world, on this planet, if you following his law. That's right. It's for all of us.
Okay, if you follow his law. But in the Bible, right, it says not only follow his law, follow the law of the land, right, which is law of Congress, right?
Well, I think what you're referring to is Jesus talking about paying taxes, but no, it doesn't say that in the Bible.
Yes, it does.
It didn't say.
It does. That paying taxes part. No, you don't supposed to be. We don't supposed to be paying taxes, but follow the law of the land, which we got to follow. If you want to follow the Bible, you got to follow that too. You see what I'm saying? So everybody in this world is not following the law or the Bible. Because if they was, we wouldn't be paying
Everybody's
taxes.
not following it.
Yeah.
What I'm trying to get you to understand is that God is looking at us in particular. He's not saying what's the white man doing. He's saying what are my people doing in this. He just like when I used to come in, I say I got in trouble at school. My parents asked me, "Well, what happened?" I said, "Well, Johnny was over there. He was." As soon as I say somebody else was doing something wrong, I get slapped because my parents are looking at what the fuck I'm doing. That's what God is doing. He's not worried about what everybody else is doing. He's trying to get his people right.
But the only way we get our people right is we got to start teaching one another and having this kind of conversation.
Yeah, you right about that. You right about that, bro. I'm not saying, look, I'm not here for conflict. I'm with you on everything you're saying. All I'm saying is that that's the solution to it.
Yeah.
It's not the rap music. We listened to crazy rap when I was coming up, but we were righteous kids listening to NWA. See, when we were in school, we had what 3-4 guys out smoking cigarettes down by the gym, right? Now all the kids are smoking marijuana, not just a couple of kids out smoking cigarettes. We're getting further and further away from it. And all this weed these kids are smoking. I didn't have my first blunt until I was 23. These kids are smoking this blunt stuff, and this weed is so much stronger. It's destroying their minds. You can barely even understand when they talk.
I'm gonna tell you why that, Romo. Because it's not natural weed. It's not natural. Just like the fruits and vegetables, it's not natural. And that right there is where the parents come in. Where the parents just sit down with their parents or the elders or the older people and sit down and listen to them and have a talk with them. And look, kids having kids.
Where do you think that the elders are getting their information about what is right and what is wrong? Our people. What? I'm not talking about the atheists out there. I'm talking about our people that are able to talk to the youth. Where do you think they're getting their ideas about what is right and wrong from?
But the reason I said that, Romo, is these kids of this generation ain't listening. They're not hearing. And we're not listening and hearing the children. That's what I was getting at.
They're not listening. They're not listening. You're right. In a lot in most cases, they don't have anybody to listen to.
Yeah.
That's just like that young man that was on Armando's page yesterday, right? Now that little small conversation, he's gonna go back and tell somebody about that.
Yeah.
And like I think this conversation is important, man. I'm not disagreeing with you. All I'm saying is that like if we want to be so special in God's eyes, then we need to act special. When my parents came around, I acted a certain way.
Oh
I know
yeah.
God is with me all the time. So you know what I do? I act a certain way all the time.
I'm gonna ask Ian Silverback this question, and you can answer this question too. Right? We knew what the rules was when we went to the store with our parents, didn't we? Silverback E. Yep.
Absolutely. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
And if we did, they gave the rules before we left the house, right?
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
And we broke the rules. We was in the store. What happened?
You got dealt with.
Right there on the spot.
Yeah, sometimes right there on the spot.
Yeah. And Will got away from that. It says, "Spare the rod, spoil the child," and that what it says in the Bible.
Right.
And now they want to make what spanking or whipping your child what child abuse.
Yep.
When I used to go out to clubs and things like that, right? You know what, man? You was the man if you got a woman to turn around and dance.
Yeah.
And you was even more the man if she would let you get up on her. Now you can see the progress here just in the dancing. Look at our women, man. Then I don't even see a girl's face sometimes. They turn around. I mean, like we getting further and further away from what's right. We're
and
gonna
and they
keep on
take
getting punished.
like I said, they took a tribal dance and turned it into something else. You see what I'm saying? But we finna go commercial break right quick. Let's see which one we'll play. We'll play. Hold on, what that? Okay, you know I gotta play this one.
Hey, you guys, I had to make a correction, you guys. This is a saying that Armando says all the time. I can't do it quite like him, but you can see the other design I created at the bottom. But he says, it sounds good. It sounds good. But in real life, though, I can't do it like Armando. He's the original king behind that. So I hope you guys like my designs. These are going to go on cups and t-shirts. So don't forget to hit that like button, post notification button, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Thank you for supporting me and loving me. April Showers. Thank you, D Truth. Thank you, Renrock TV. Thank you, Armando Black. Thank you, B Rob. Thank you, Dr. Silverback Luther King. Thank you, ETV. Thank you, Kevin. Thank you to all those people that have accepted me. I truly appreciate you. Thank you.
Hold on for a minute. Hey, how y'all like the backdrop? That's the clock that the Wolfpack clock back there that Together made. Is shout out to her and the commissioner team.
Amazing work. Shout out Together.
Shout out.
Armando, what you guys say on this discussion?
What's going on, brother? What's going on? That ain't me echoing this. Hold on, let me come off my laptop. Okay. All right. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Good morning to E Silverback. Good afternoon, Romo D True. All right, Romo. Now I was listening, while I was driving. and you reference God a lot. And I'm going to ask you, what does the word God mean to you? Explain that to me. What to you? What is God? And who is God to you?
Well, I had a near-death experience when I was about 28, and I got a chance to see a spirit. I used the word God. I saw an entity, and in my vision, what I saw while I had left this earth was a vision of love, and I would say God is love.
All right. Let me ask you a question, Romo. Are there some people in your life that you love, that you have love for? Like family members, friends that you have love for and that you have empathy for?
Yes.
Okay. I say that to say this. Well, a lot of people talk about God and the Bible and going to church. That was something that was kind of drilled in our ancestors' heads to control them on the plantations. Now, fast forward to today's society, and I remember coming up as a kid as well, but also in today's society, you see a lot of government officials. They use the Bible to further their political agenda. All right. But the truth is, there's a God in you, E, Silverback, D True, Armando. There's a God in all of us. The Bible, it can say one thing and say another. Okay, it teaches about love, peace, and harmony and all of that, but it also, if you read through some of the scriptures, it promotes misogyny, it promotes slavery. You know, you can't put all your eggs in the Bible basket because the Bible can be confusing. That's why you have to have church in your heart. People think that they can run to the church if they're going through something. And when I was younger, I used to think the same thing. When I was going through something or going through some hard times, I'd go to church, go to the church building, sit there and listen to the pastor and think later that week my problems. It's not. It's not in all reality. You have to have church in your heart. And you have to understand this notion that there is a God that's looking down on all of us and punishing the bad people and looking out for the good people. No, man, that's science fiction.
Well, we don't actually really know for sure. Okay, we don't know how God works, right? What we can do,
God works through all of us. Because there's a God in all of us.
He works through animals, trees, everything. God is everything. God is everything, right? But what I'm saying, I'm not trying to say that the Bible is what we should all follow word by word. You have to read all of the religious texts. Once you do that, then you'll find out God's personality. You take all of it. You can't just say Mary got pregnant and now we don't understand that part. No, okay, nobody understands that part. We all learned what was right and wrong from some type of religious text, or the person that taught you what was right and wrong learned it from some religious text. That's all we got to go on. We all have opinions, but overall, we can see what God's character wants us to be like. And like you say, you go to the church and you pray and stuff like that, and it didn't work out for you. That's in your case. You see what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So you got. I think that it's hard to define God But I think that what you can do is you can look at history, and it says it in the Bible right there what's going to happen to our people, and then you see it happening to our people. You see people doing wrong in life, you end up seeing what happens to them later in life.
So let me ask you a question, brother. So you've never met anyone or been around anyone that came down with a terminal illness, but they were good people. The majority of their life, they were good people. They were good co-workers. They helped people out. They were good parents. They lived a good life. They helped people out before they got sick. You never known anyone that just was a genuinely good-hearted person, but ran into some health issues and maybe came down with a terminal illness like cancer.
Of course I have, but what you're doing is you're saying that a person is supposed to live long based on doing the right thing. And that's not actually the case.
That's not what I'm saying.
Okay.
This notion that if a person is doing bad or doing F stuff out here, that they're gonna always meet their karma or something bad. That's not the case, bro. I'm gonna give you a perfect example. The lady that lied on Emmett Till, that lady lived to be almost 90 years old.
And she
Now,
probably
I guarantee
she lived a lot of those years in torment, and you don't know how God was dealing with her. You see,
but there are some good people that have lived their life in turmoil, in poverty. They have always they chose to go the right route, not get out there and sell drugs, not get out there and sell themselves or somebody's echo.
Go ahead, keep going.
Okay, not get out there and do any harm to anyone. All right, they stayed on the right path, and they didn't live long.
Did Jesus stay on the right path?
Huh?
Jesus stayed on the right path, right? So you're basing.
You number one. None of us were alive when Jesus was alive. Okay, you're going
based
by
on what we know.
Let me finish.
Based on what we know.
Yeah, let me finish, brother. You're going off of what you've been programmed ever since you was a little kid. You're going off of the hold up. You weren't alive back during that time. You're going off of what was being programmed into you since you were a little boy. Now you are a grown adult.
Just one example. I'm just giving you one example.
But you don't know.
I was programmed as a little boy, and then I reprogrammed myself as a man. So the way I was able to reprogram myself was by gaining knowledge. Mm-hmm. So until you can read, until you have read all the religious text, then you really can't say, "Hey, I understand God." You read one text. Hey. If you read one text, you can't say that you understand God until you have put all of it into your head. Then you get a good idea of what God wants.
If I can jump in real quick, I got to drop off and load.
Go ahead, Jay.
All
Respect
right.
the Jersey Hood.
Yeah, hey, what's up, people? How y'all doing?
Go ahead. Yeah, we hear you. Yeah.
All right. My guy, you're being definitive based on opinions. If you're speaking in biblical context, this world is supposed to be Lucifer's playground, and you're being tested.
Where did you read that at?
If you're okay, fallen angels. Who's the fallen angel, bro?
The fallen angels with a
Who is the fallen angel, bro?
I'm telling you, the fallen angels with the Anunnaki or whatever the hell they call it.
So what you do, we get into a position to where you think your opinion is right, and it's just an opinion.
No, I didn't say that my opinion was right.
But it's based in your argument.
I'm basing my opinion on all of the religious texts that I've read.
Mm-hmm. So
that's what I'm doing.
This is supposed to be
like you are.
Yeah,
just like you are.
Okay, this is about reading in the biblical context. This is supposed to be Lucifer's playground. We are
So now the
the one.
Bible is the
Hold on.
Bible
Let
is
me.
right
Hey,
then.
hold on, bro. Let me finish. We are supposed to be created in the image of the Creator, right?
Where did you
So,
get that information from?
okay, bro, it's in the Bible. All
Right.
right.
Okay. There you go. So now,
Uh,
okay. Okay. Go ahead.
Okay, but it's the same context that you were just displaying. In your words, you were
It's
just
not the same
displaying the same.
context. It's not the same context because what you're doing is you're basing what's right and wrong off the Bible, and what I'm saying is
Okay,
that I've
that's
read the
what the man
religious
was talking
text.
about. That's what the man was just talking about when he said you have been programmed.
No, I was programmed as a kid, but then as a man, I put enough information in my head to reprogram my own self.
Okay, let me jump here right quick, Jason.
Yeah.
You know the question you had asked about where you learn right from wrong from? Okay. When you're growing up, right, and you see some adult do something wrong, and they say they robbed somebody, broke into somebody's house, and they went to jail, right? Would you do the same thing they did to go get locked up?
Yes, if I haven't had the proper guidance.
No, you wouldn't. No, you wouldn't. Because if you had the right mindset, it ain't proper guidance. If you say,
If
"Oh, you
I
don't want to
didn't
go
have the
there,"
right mindset, then I would go out and do the same thing they did.
but if you had the right guidance, and he tells you or she tells you, don't go do what I did, or you wind up where I'm at, cause what I did was wrong. That's where you
It's not
learn
good
right from
enough.
wrong.
God told Adam and Eve not to eat off the tree. That's not good enough sometimes.
Where did you get that information from, though?
Well, see, now we saying that the Bible isn't correct again. See,
Yeah.
anytime you want to
But
prove
where
a
did you
point,
get that
then the
information?
Bible. Wait a second. Every time that
But where
people
did you
want to
get that
prove a point,
information?
well, it's obvious where I got it from.
Okay, thank you.
So what I'm saying is that every time people like to make points about the Bible when it fits them, and then when it doesn't fit them, they say, "Well, we don't know if that Bible, it could have been rewritten and all this stuff."
Ramo,
That's just
Ramo,
like,
But
go ahead.
Ramo,
Mono.
hold on, everybody. Hold on, Ramo. Let me get in. See, let me get in. And let me land the plane here. All right. Now, I'm not saying that the Bible. I'm not trying to take any shots at the Bible. I'm saying that everything is in the Bible. Everything is in the Bible. Do you believe everything is in the Bible? Because
No,
if you believe in
no, I don't.
everything, hold up.
I
If you
don't.
believe, let me finish.
But I
If
don't.
you
So you
believe,
don't.
all right. If you believe in everything that's in the Bible,
I
then you
don't.
believe in slavery and misogyny.
I don't think that. I think that slavery was taken out of context because of how
But
slavery
it's
was.
promoted in the Bible, sir.
Right,
Yes.
and
It's
there,
promoted in the Bible. So I don't.
exactly,
So the thing
and there's
is,
not, and there,
the thing is, hold up,
and there's
hold up,
nothing.
hold up. Let me finish.
Go
Let me
ahead.
finish. I just ask you one question. I don't need no whole soliloquy. But what I'm
Go ahead.
saying is, bro, y'all Bible thumpers go around here thumping your Bibles and everything, but you leave that part out. There's some things in the Bible that's being promoted that's actually a problem with what's going on in our society
Exactly. That's why I say
today.
you need to read all of the religious texts so that you can form an opinion about what God's mindset or God's ways are. So if you just take the Bible, no, you're gonna find all kinds of contradictions in there. Go
And the
ahead
thing,
and read. Have you how many religious texts have you read?
brother, I used to be like you. I used to be a Bible thumper. The truth will tell
I'm
you
not a
this.
Bible
So
thumper.
hold up now. Sunday mornings, Sunday afternoons, Sunday night service. Want me to go down the list? Wednesday night
I'm not a
service,
Bible thumper though.
Friday night service, Saturday morning choir practice, Saturday evening church meetings, Saturday night service, Sunday morning 7 a.m. Teaching Sunday school. And I was a junior deacon. And everybody in the neighborhood was laughing at me because I was a junior deacon, including D Truth. D Truth had the devil in him back then. He was chasing them girls in the streets, and I was in the church.
But it's like this right here. Armando J. Cole, y'all heard me say this plenty of time, even on Facebook, right? What have I said? How many times had that? Multiple times. Some stuff added to it, some stuff taken away from it. I ain't taking that away from the book.
I'm not a Bible thumper. I've read all the religious texts.
Wait, okay.
I was just using the Bible as an example because I know you guys probably haven't read all the religious texts, so I'm using that as an example.
I don't read every text, everything in that Bible, inside and out. Oh, you can't.
Every time we have a conversation, you have a condescending tone.
I'm not talking about the Bible. When I say religious texts, I'm talking about the Quran, I'm talking about the Tao, I'm talking about Confucianism, I'm talking about the Buddha teachings. That's what I'm saying, religious texts. I'm not talking about just the Bible. I'm not a Bible thumper.
Was any written by the Holy Man?
Hey, I'm like this right here. Every book, okay, what religion, it comes back around the same thing. So there's no difference. It's just different wordings.
Exactly. It comes back around to being a righteous person. And my point was that the further we move away from righteousness, our people are going to continue to suffer because my God has his eyes on us in particular. He don't care about what white people do. It's obvious. Look at how successful they are. He don't care. He cares about what we do.
Yes, he do. Yes, he do. Because guess
he
what?
cares about what we doing.
I'll tell you why he do care. Because guess what? The Caucasians derive from us.
That's fine. They doing just fine out here. You know who's struggling on this planet? You know who's struggling on this planet? Black people.
So what is struggling? Because
we just got out of slavery.
Hold on.
We just got out of slavery. That's struggling.
Hold on. First of all, brother. All right, listen. And I understand the problem. You went from Old Natty to Alpharetta. You didn't get a chance to experience anything in between. I don't think you ever hung out. Mute your mic for a second, Deidre, please. I don't think you've had a chance to hang out in Villa Rica, the east side of Villa Rica. I don't think you ever been to LJ, Georgia. I don't think
I've been to all of the places you're naming. I'm not talking about College Park. Hold on, wait a second.
Hold on, I'm not talking about getting off the exit. Hold on.
You saying stuff that's not true though.
Number one, you gotta let me finish talking. You don't let people finish saying what the hell they gotta say. That's why a lot of people have a problem having a conversation with you, Ramo. You don't let people finish.
None of it's false.
You don't let people finish, bro.
No, I'm not gonna let you say something that's false.
So you done hung out in Villa Rica?
Yes, bruh. I didn't go from College. Hold on, wait a second. I didn't go from College Park
going to gas and up and get back on the exit.
You're confused. I didn't go from College Park to Alpharetta. I lived in 6 different states. Just got back to Georgia about 7 years ago. Okay.
The reason why I ask you that, bro, because you act like you act like don't know BS be going down in the white community. You act like you don't see the crap that's going on in the sticks. That's all I'm saying.
I've been in the sticks. I've been all over this United States, okay? All over it. Straight up. And I've lived in several states too.
So I don't
Like
understand.
Alpharetta.
I don't understand how you can paint this narrative that all the F stuff is going on in the black communities.
I didn't say all of it. I said that our people are suffering more than any other race, and the reason why we're suffering more.
How do you know that?
Based on statistics.
No, that's what you have been programmed to believe.
No, I haven't been programmed to believe that. I can see that our people are suffering.
No. I ain't talking, and I'm talking about TV. I'm talking about the internet.
TV.
The internet. You on the internet now?
Right, but I don't watch TV though.
But you are on people watching you, and the things that are coming out of your mouth, Romo, you are programming a listener. Every
I'm
panel you
programming.
hit,
I'm
every
programming the listener.
you
I'm
you are
programming the
becoming
listener to come back towards God. Yes, I am doing that.
to come back
Until,
towards
and
God.
until
But
we do
listen,
that, you're not going to
brother,
see a change.
listen, brother. That's what I'm saying. That ideology. There is a God in all of us. If you don't have God in you, you sit around and waiting for a
I
higher
never
being to
said that
come.
God
No,
wasn't in us.
no. All right then. So what are you saying?
God is
You're
in
waiting.
everything.
God is already in you.
He's in everything.
All right then.
I never
All
argued
right.
that point.
Okay,
I
fellas.
was
And
saying
the
that
Okay.
our
point that you
people.
keep
I was
and
saying
the
that
point,
our
Fellas.
people need.
hold on. And the point that you keep saying you reference him as a he
No, I said
could
you
be a
can call
she.
him whatever you want.
He could be a
Have
she.
you ever
You
seen
don't know
God?
that?
I have.
Huh?
I've seen God.
You've
I had a
seen
near-death
God.
experience. Yes.
I've
Yes,
had a
I've
near
seen him. And you
listen,
know
brother.
what color he
Hold on.
was?
I've seen it. I've
Do
had
you
a
know
near
what color
I've
God is?
had a near death experience
Do you
on
know what color God
on
is?
3 different
What color is
occasions.
God? What color
You
is God?
tell me what color
White.
God is.
White like lightning.
Okay, brother. You saw a doctor. You didn't
If
see
you've
no
ever
damn
seen the
God.
color of
You saw a
lightning,
doctor.
then you've seen the color of God.
You was coming out of a coma, and you
No, I
was in
wasn't
a
coming out
coma,
of a
and
coma.
you was in and out of a
I
coma, and
wasn't
you
coming
saw a
out of a
damn
coma.
doctor. You saw a
I
white
was not
doctor
coming
standing
out of
over
a
you.
coma.
Hold
Boy,
on, fellas.
stop.
Hold on,
Man,
fellas.
stop. Talking about God. White.
What?
Man, stop.
Stop. I've
Hold
seen
on, fellas.
God.
Hold on.
Straight up.
You seen a white doctor. That's what you seen, bro.
No, I didn't see. I
In
wasn't in the
between
Hold
comas.
on.
hospital.
That's what
Hold
you
I
on.
seen.
wasn't in the hospital, Armando. You're making up stuff.
Hold on. And it goes back to
You ain't had no damn near different experience. You went in no hospital.
hold on.
But how do you know that though? See, that's
Hold
where
on.
we go off base.
Hold
That's where we
on.
go off base.
Hold on. And today it goes back to my topic, what I was talking about. Back to my topic, what I was talking about. The Crown Act. How do y'all feel about that and what's been going on?
I came in late, bro. You gotta explain the Crown Act to me again.
Oh, I won't have to continue this tonight because my phone about to go dead.
Okay.
I had to continue tonight, and Armando set the thought that up about for 12, and we're gonna continue this. I already said it's gonna be a part 2 to this.
Romo, me and you gonna have to have a one-on-one on my panel. And we're
All
gonna
right, let's
continue
do it.
this. We're gonna continue this subject, man. Hey man,
Let's
and
do
one
it.
thing I like about you, bro, you stand on your square. I respect that, bro.
Hey, I respect you too, man. That's why I come over here, man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Great conversation. We can agree to disagree, and this is what I'm talking about. This is why I say that you can have good content. You can produce good content. Have a panel, have a heated discussion without the riffraff, and still entertain. Because this was a very entertaining live. And all of you did a great job. Silverback,
And the one you had last night,
Romo,
man.
D-True.
The one the one that you had last night was awesome. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So hey, I love this new direction we're going in, fellas. I love this new direction we're going in. And they said it couldn't be done, but we showed the world last night that video's done over 2K views. All right, the chat was moving like warp speed. You know what I'm saying? I couldn't even hardly read the comments. The chat was moving so fast. But they said it couldn't be done, but it was done. And I want to thank everybody for coming out. Thank everybody for coming out and supporting my little bro today.
And I want to thank y'all for letting me, express myself. And I think we do need to continue this because it's gonna go somewhere, and it can't go anywhere bad. Because really, either one of us could be right, and it's gonna be a good thing.
Exactly, bro. So, do you have any last words, man? You gonna pull back up later on tonight?
Yeah, if I see the notification, I'll definitely hit it. Yeah, I'll come back.
All right, brother. All right, man. I was late to the party, man, but it was a pleasure being up here with you, brother. All right. Oh, so everyone, make sure you hit that like button on your way out. Thank you all for coming out. D Truth had some his phone that went dead, so I'm gonna go ahead and close it on out with a commercial, and then I'm gonna close the program on out.
Hey, you guys, what's going on? This is my newest design. This is something that Armando always say. It sounds good. It sounds good. It sounds good. So I decided to make something. So tell me what you guys think about this. I hope you guys like it. Your girl's busy. Talk to you later. What's up, Wolfpack, 20 East Nation, Armando, D-Truth, Miss April Showers, Renrock TV. What's up, you guys? Thank you guys for loving and supporting me. I really appreciate it. And I'll talk to you guys in the next video. Have a great one.
We building over here. We're building. Salute and a big shout out to the Commission Art team. Congratulations on 6,000 views. The Commission Art team reached the threshold of 6,000 views. Shout out to Together. Together, I'm looking forward to doing that collab with you on the panel and the interview. I look forward to all of that. D-Truth, you got the last words, man? I know your phone tripping right now, man, but I'm gonna close it on out for you. Got the last words, brother.
Like I said, love, respect yourself. Love, respect yourself. You see through the BS and love yourself. Who can love you better than yourself?
Man. Amen. All right, everyone. Thank you all for coming out and support my little bro. What time you going on tonight, brother?
I would say it's gonna be a little after 12. It's gonna be a little after 12.
All right. Another late night show.
Yeah, that a late night. Hey, I like this right here because I want your opinion on the crown net.
Okay. All right.
Everybody join me tonight. Hey, we've been having great dialogues and everything. So join me.
All right. And B Rob is going to be doing a live this evening. That'll be TBA to be announced. Once I get the word of what time B Rob is going to go live, I will be setting up the thumbnail and everything and forwarding it over to my community wall so everyone would know what time B Rob will be going live. This is how you build a sector, everyone. 2:30. Okay, 2:30. All right, so that's a little under an hour. All right, so everyone, make sure you pull up at 2:30 over there to my other little bro, B Rob, the Lone Wolf. The Lone Wolf is going to speak on a very, very serious subject: loyalty and respect. Now, that right there should be interesting right there because, listen, those are two very important things. You cannot have friendship without loyalty and respect. So I'm looking forward to that conversation. So everyone, enjoy the rest of your work day. It's Tuesday afternoon. Join us over at B Rob's here shortly at 2:30. So, hey, we're building over here. We're building. So everyone, love you all. Peace and blessings. I'm Armando Black for D-Truth. This has been an epic panel and an epic discussion. You know, it was a great panel when the brother talking about doing a part 2 tonight. So everyone, make sure you pull back up later on tonight at midnight and at 2:30 over at B Rob's. All right. So everyone, love you all. Peace and blessings. I'm Armando Black. Peace from the ATL, and I am out.